let's talk about stress, tension, and nervous system. I'm Javi Kayut, neuroscience researcher, yoga teacher, and health enthusiast. And today we're going to talk about something that most of us already felt: how stress, overall, emotional, life, deadline type of stress can actually influence tension around the body. So, emotional stress can in fact impact how some of your biological features actually respond to the environment. And we're gonna go full in details into how that happens today. Have you ever felt that heavy bodily tension when you're stressed out? So tension around your shoulders, that locked jaw, short breath. So probably all of you already felt how stress actually changes our overall system. How we're actually, most of us already felt how stress actually influences some of the ways in which we engage with our environment. So probably all of you already felt stress out and with a locked jaw, tension around your upper back, short breath. So all the physical attributes we actually place on stress. The nervous system constantly reads the state of the body. So basically what happens is your nervous system is at every single moment reading your environment, reading your emotions, reading how your body and your sensory map is providing you feedback or not. So the nervous system is always trying to assess whether you're safe or whether you're in some sort of danger in that sense. So, biologically speaking, physical tension is actually a signal of defense. So think about it. You're tensed up. You're dealing with some sort of stress. You need to react by buffing up. So muscles tense up. Your entire system tenses up in order to face whatever stressor is coming your way. When that becomes chronic, think about it. We have in our modern way of living, we have stressors that keep with us throughout the entire day. Stressors are no longer the lion trying to eat you alive, but the stress is today the deadline that you gotta fulfill by tomorrow. So we keep this constant stress, and this chronic stress then translate into physical tension. And then you have rigidity reinforcing the stress pattern, and the stress pattern reinforcing rigidity. And once again, you get into this loop in which the way your body, the way your system responds to stress on a day by day depends completely on how well the system can actually take on stress. And the more rigid the system is, the less stress it can take in. So it creates this loop. Can you see it? And when that happens, the body starts to work and to move with more effort. When the body starts to move with more effort, the nervous system starts to show and remap itself accordingly to what it's receiving in terms of feedback. So tense up around the shoulders for a day, that's okay. For a year, you will see that your entire system is already adapting to that level of tension and rigidity. And then you have a system that is, in a sense, built on top of stress. And then the body and the nervous system, they amplify each other. The physical tension in your body amplifies your stress response, and your stress response amplifies your physical rigidity. Think about everything is connected. The circuits, they keep firing up and they keep giving the same thing every single day. This is why we see that sometimes it's an emotional stress that became physical. Sometimes it's a physical stress that becomes emotional, because you have those two ends to the same thing. And it's quite funny because most people then are like, okay, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna spend a week on a retreat in Honey Island and I'm gonna be chill, perfect. I'm gonna have just a week for myself, my stress will go away, and just by relaxing, I'll be able to put myself back to this resilient point in face of stress. But in fact, it doesn't actually work like that, because the body doesn't actually listen to your thoughts, but it listens to the input it receives. So what happens is, when you have a rigidity pattern already in your body from a stress or tension or whatever, you actually have to do something, and I'm talking about something physically, in order to release that tension. Most of the time, what we see in managing stress, and this came from Dr. Hans Selye. The way he described the stress response is: you have stress, then you have strain, then you have distortion, then you have disease. Basically, if you're not dealing with your stress, if it's chronic for long enough, overall stress, mental stress, work stress, it will actually create strain. So the body will overall tense the shoulders, the jaw, some places in your entire body structure will tense up. When that happens, we have strain. Whenever you have strain, you already need something from the outside in order to put you back into that ground zero. And when I say that, what I mean is you need some sort of hands-on therapy, massage, chiropractic table. You need to engage in a yoga class. You need to engage with some sort of movement that will be able to relieve you from that strain. On average, what we see is not that there is something that will relieve you from the strain itself, but if you just mobilize the entire body, the entire area, most strain tends to fade away. But then when you think about this idea, you got to understand basically that it's not about relaxation, but it's about having your system be able to take on stress, engage with stress, and at the end of this process come out stronger, more resilient, more capable of dealing with the next stressor that will come along. This is overall how you want to see things in here. It's not about relaxing, but it's about creating more resilience face the stressors on your day by day. And then there's this beautiful thing that is movement can actually change the state of your nervous system. And we're seeing this all over. Slow, gentle approaches. They're able to trigger parasympathetic responses in your nervous system, so relaxation responses. They're connected to the way you move your body. Think about how amazing this is, because this tells us that not only we're able to change our internal rhythm and the rhythm in which our nervous system is, but we're able to thrive and perform more. Because when I talk about stress and tension, I'm not talking about doing less. We need to understand that we are today in a modern society that demands from us at all moments. We cannot say that we want less. We need more, but with more resilience to it. And the way to go, on average, from what I'm seeing and from what I've seen with all of my students, is this direct approach to joint mobility. From the moment you are able to keep your body learning from this external stress in a controlled way, the better. So when you engage with a yoga pose, in our methodology, you're not looking for something that is easy. You're looking for discomfort, sensation. You're looking for the points in the body that you can see that you lost mobility. And when you engage with that, you create this micro stressor in your joints that then the nervous system perceives as a positive response with time. And you see that if you apply this logic long enough, you have a body that is able to age, getting more resilient to stress, not only on the physical level, but also on the mental. So this is why it's so important for us to understand that managing tension, managing stress, it's not just simply about dealing with the stressor, but understanding that it has a biological response in the body. And when we deal with the biological response, we're able to have a system that is more resilient to stress in the first place. So this is why I keep saying joints are definitely the gateway to health. Hope you all enjoyed today's video and see you in our next video.